Welcome back to the GSMC Golf Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm sorry my hair is all over the place, but that is a problem for later, I guess. But going into my second segment now, talking about Thursday's leaderboard, as I misspelled Thursday. I cannot believe I did that. I'm fixing that right now. I cannot believe I did that. I'm all over the place. Thursday's leaderboard from Rocket Mortgage Classic. We have some big names to talk about here. The first one being Akshay Bhatia. This guy is able to just go out there and play well on early days of a tournament. He did this at the U.S. Open. He did this at the Travelers Championship, and he's doing it again. This is his second 64 in a row on a Thursday, I believe, which is so impressive. Last weekend at the Travelers Championship, Akshay Bhatia went out and put his name at the top of the leaderboard to start that tournament, like he did this week again. Akshay Bhatia is playing some fantastic golf. Tied for 5th at the Travelers, tied for 16th at the U.S. Open after an opening round 68. It was so hard for these guys to get into the red. That's it. Get into the red for the U.S. Open, and he was able to go out there and shoot 2 under on the first day. And his name's kind of been at the top of the leaderboard as of late. Did fall off eventually in the U.S. Open, wasn't able to get it at the Travelers Championship. I believe he was around 4 strokes back of the lead there. But this weekend at the Rocket Mortgage, this is a fantastic field for the 22-year-old to be able to go out and get this one. There's so many young guys in this field. I love the Rocket Mortgage every year because it feels like this is the tournament that we're showcasing a lot of the young talent that's coming up. It's in a perfect time of the PGA Tour season where you are having the college year be over. So now we get Michael Thornton in a field. This is his second field he's playing in. But we're also getting golfers, just going down the list here. Nick Dunlap, who turned professional earlier this year, but is able to go out and get it today. He finished tied for 9th at 5 under. You also have Neil Shipley, who is playing in his first ever PGA Tour event. Neil Shipley, I love this guy. Former Buckeye. He wears the golden bear on his chest. Of course, me being from Columbus, Ohio, that hits close to home for me. So I love seeing that for Neil Shipley. I'm just trying to go off of memory who were the amateurs / college players still in the field. Michael Thornton, who we just call Thor. So if I refer to somebody as Thor, that's who I'm talking about. The golfer that was number 1 in the PGA Tour University rankings, now turning professional, has his PGA Tour card through 2025, and is getting good use out of it. Tied for 17th, has a chance here. You also have Luke Clanton, who's an amateur. You have Ben James, who's an amateur. You have... who are the other young guys here? I know there's the Auburn standout, that Jackson Koivon, whose name always eludes me, but he is an Auburn upcoming junior at Auburn, if I'm not mistaken. I'll figure it out by his age here. Of course, his tour profile doesn't have an age. But Jackson Koivon is a very fantastic college golfer. You also have, of course, the 15-year-old Miles Russell in the field that we will, of course, be talking about in the 4th segment. That's one that just stands out to you, jumps off the paper. Miles Russell was fun to watch today. Let me tell you, we'll be talking all about him in the 4th segment. But then you also get guys like J.J. Spawn, guys like Cameron Young, Will Zalatoris, Ricky Fowler in this field that are trying to find their game a little bit, but using this opportunity as just that. So I love watching this event. Last year, it was Ricky Fowler that went out and won it. And this year, you get a lot of good names at the top of the leaderboard. As I mentioned, Akshay Bhatia is your 18-hole leader. He played fantastic down the stretch, had a fantastic back 9, and that's what got him to be the 18-hole leader. However, a guy that I got to mention, Taylor Montgomery, I thought he was about to set a course record. He was 6 under through the front 9 today, and I really expected him to go out and just win the day. He does go bogey free today, but only one birdie on the back nine was a little disappointing for a guy that I thought was about to have a 59. I truly, how he was playing early this event, it looked like it was going to be a fun one for Taylor Montgomery, but unable to go out and perform even more. Next, Michael Kim finished 7 under, tied for second. Michael Kim having a pretty solid year. He turned pro in 2013 and got his first career win this year, if I'm not mistaken. No, he did not. I'm thinking of a different South Korean, I believe. But he is having a good year. Tied for 6th at the Amex, tied for 14th at the Punta Cana Championship, tied for 11th at the Zurich Classic, and then tied for 14th at the RBC Canadian Open. Michael Kim has had a pretty solid season comparatively to his past years. And now he is tied for second going into this Rocket Mortgage. Something I love about the Rocket Mortgage, I love watching or seeing a lot of young golfers get an opportunity, but I also love seeing guys that are trying to find themselves, trying to find a footing, and get back to being confident. Michael Kim, 30 years old, hasn't won in a little while. Ricky Fowler, man, I looked at his PGA Tour profile and the stats he has on his PGA Tour profile, and that made my hair worse. And Ricky Fowler truly has had probably the worst year of his career. Strokes gained everywhere is awful. Strokes gained total 163rd. Strokes gained approaching the green 142nd. Strokes gained off the tee 144th. Strokes gained putting 131st. Strokes gained around the green 96th. He's negative everywhere. He is losing strokes on the field in every spot. It's been tough to watch Ricky Fowler this year, but he won this event last year. And he can definitely use this one to kind of catapult him up the PGA Tour. You know, he's probably a far way away from being into any FedEx Cup playoffs. But he is 91st right now in the FedEx Cup standings, and you just need to be 70th to get into the FedEx Cup Championship, the St. Jude FedEx Cup Championship. You need to be top 50 for the BMW, and then you need to be top 30 for the Tour Championship. Ricky Fowler is far away from those two, but he can definitely get into the top 70 for that playoff. Will Zalatoris, another guy that is just not having the best season. This guy trying to find himself. I've always loved Will Zalatoris. I've always thought that he is fantastic. Only one win in his PGA Tour career doesn't do him any justice. This guy is one of the best golfers of this generation, but injuries have absolutely plagued his career. Earlier this year, it looked like he was turning it around, and it looks like the back is at it again, causing him some trouble, but now he's tied for 4th. He has an opportunity to go out and win one. He was cut at the U.S. Open. He was cut at a Zurich Classic, tied 60th at the Wells Fargo. I believe that event didn't have a cut. Tied for 9th at the Masters earlier this year. Tied for 4th at the Arnold Palmer. Tied for 2nd at the Genesis Invitational. Will Zalatoris has a very weird season, and it's just the only answer that I have for it is injuries has kind of plagued it. So hopefully he can get back to being who he is, because I just love watching Will Zalatoris when he's good. Another guy I want to talk about is Neil Shipley's. Neil Shipley's day, 5 under on the day, tied for 9th. This guy, low am at the Masters and low am at the U.S. Open. Over his career at Ohio State, he wasn't like that spectacular. Nothing really stood out too much. I don't even think he was top 10 in the PGA Tour University rankings. However, this guy goes out in his first ever PGA Tour event, and he's top 10 on a Thursday. That's fantastic. For Neil Shipley, got off to a rough start, ended up 1 over on the front 9 after 2 bogeys to kind of start his round. And then holes out from the fairway on the first hole. That was something very fun to watch for Neil Shipley, and then goes out and birdies 5 of the last 6 holes to finish with a 30 on the back 9. Neil Shipley, he's a fun golfer to watch. I know the commentators on ESPN Plus were saying that Neil Shipley is their favorite amateur, and I might have to agree with that. He's somebody that's very fun to watch every time that he's out there. But another guy that's really fun anytime that he's out there, Michael Thorstensen, 4 under on the day, only 1 bogey on his card, and this is kind of the difference that I see in these two. These two are really polar opposite golfers. Neil Shipley is a guy that just rides the highs and lows of golf, really kind of compounds momentum, I guess you can say, but in a great way and in a bad way. And then for Michael Thorstensen, this guy's just a sound golfer. He goes out there and plays well no matter what. Finishes with 5 birdies and 1 bogey on his card. That's an impressive card for a guy that is as young as Michael Thorstensen is. Of course, Michael is 22 years old, from Cleveland, Ohio. Went to Stanford University for his collegiate golf, and now on the PGA Tour. And he's a name that we're going to get used to seeing for a very long time. But as I said, I love watching this golf tournament because of the, not the amateurs, but the guys just starting out from college, getting their PGA Tour card and using it immediately. It's something very fun to watch. And then there's also a 15-year-old in the field that, of course, we'll be getting to in the 4th segment. So that'll wrap it up for talking about Thursday's leaderboard at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. When I get back from my second break of the night, we will be talking about Seth Wolf. I'm going to try to figure out that pronunciation before we get back. And then we'll be talking about him stepping down from CEO of the PGA of America.